What's happening, guys? Silent Mike Super Training Gym Mark Bell's Powercast here, showing you guys a full weekend of my bodybuilding hypertrophy working out, all the workouts. So basically at Super Training, as a team, we'll hit 2 upper body sessions a week and 2 lower body sessions. Within that, everyone kind of has their own game plan, their own style, their own programming. For me right now, I'm deadlifting once a week with assistant stiff leg the other day, squatting twice a week, and doing some type of bench movement twice a week. So today is Saturday. This is Saturday squats. This is my heavier or more predominant squat day. My goal was to hit 3 to 4 sets of about 8 reps, around 70% or so. I didn't really choose a percentage. I'm going off weight. The previous time I did this was about 3 weeks ago, and I used 415, I believe. So I bumped it up to 435. Probably a little bit ambitious of a jump. Fucked me up a little bit. Here's Smelly doing some sets of 8 with 415. It's a 55-pound bar, for those who are wondering. I also did a hypertrophy style bodybuilding bench session, showing you guys how I plan to increase my bench press. There's Dan doing a cute little jig. Here is my first working set, I believe. I was showing you guys a little bit of warm-up. That other one might have been 435. I'm not sure. Basically, all I'm focusing on is getting a lot of work in, getting some reps in. My form isn't perfect. Knees do come in a little bit, but they don't shoot in per se. It's just my quads kind of flexing. It's not something I'm super worried about right now. I felt a little bit off balance, a little bit out of rhythm today. My squats have felt great for about 3-4 months straight. So I'm bound to have a shitty workout here and there. Looking at it on video afterwards, hindsight, obviously, looks like I moved pretty decently fast considering how much volume I got in. Obviously, my hips shoot up just a hair there, knees shoot in just a bit, but I don't think it's that big of a deal when I'm doing such volume. You're bound to be fatigued, get a little jacked up. Here's my boy Dan. I'm yelling at him the whole time that he's a hair high, even though he's doing sets of 8. He cleaned it up a little bit there, got a little bit deeper. It's just the camera angle. First rep or 2 was a little high, but he's prepping for his meet in March. He's handling about 70-75% of his wrapped max with some light wraps. So slingshot makes 2 different wraps. One's a slingshot wrap, one's a world record wrap. The world record wrap does have a little bit more rebound, a little more oomph to it. So I'm having Dan do about 3 to 4 weeks in just sleeves. Now 3 to 4 weeks with quote-unquote lighter wrap, and then he'll do 3 to 4 weeks in the heavy wrap leading up to the meet. This is probably my favorite set. Just took me a while to get warm up. My hips were a little banged up from the deadlift session earlier the week. You can see my knees move around like I mentioned. That's not something I'm worried about. It's different when your knees shoot in inside of your ankle or your foot. Here they're still traveling on the outside of my foot, or excuse me, mid-foot, even though you can't see it. Resetting every single one. That's partially because I'm out of breath and this is hella hard. Partially because I'd like to do all my reps as singles. There's Mark fucking with me after he knows I'm in a lot of pain. But I suggest that to everyone, beginners through advanced. If you're going to do higher rep sets or even just triples, sets of 5, whatever, focus on each one being a single. That was my big coaching command to Dan this day, because it's not easy, but it's still easier and not our sport to kind of just rep them out, not locking out on either end, kind of doing a bodybuilder squat, kind of like that set right there for Dan. But if you really focus on each individual rep, making it perfect and explosive, that's how I feel your squat will increase and transfer the most. All lifts, all style of lifting, I think it's very important to train different rep schemes, 1 through 5, 5 through 10, and even 10 through 15 here and there, whether you're a bodybuilder, power lifter, or just a general fitness enthusiast. I went on and finished just with stiff legs, double overhand, trying to work on my grip, and some jump rope to get a little bit more fitter. Here's the bench day. This is Sunday at Super Training. I had already benched heavy sets of 6 or 8, I believe, with 280 pounds earlier in the week. So this secondary day, all I wanted to do is 2 or 3 sets of 10 with maybe 220 to 250 pounds or so. We're using a 50-pound bench bar, so that's 230 or so. I did that one set, added some 10s, continued my workout. Another goal for me on Sundays, as you'll see, is I just try to superset every single movement. I want to kind of keep my heart rate up. Gained a little bit of weight over Christmas, as I mentioned. I gained a little bit of weight for my meet, but I just want to lighten up, feel a little bit better, get my lungs going. So every single exercise I do on Sundays right now, I'm going to superset. Just keeps your heart rate up, keeps you moving, keeps you working. Is it a miracle muscle builder? No, but you can get a lot of work done in less time and you can also just get that heart rate up, as I mentioned, burn a little extra calories. On my lower body days, Tuesday and Saturday, I'm just going to be jumping rope at the end of the session. Maybe superset it with something like I did stiff legs, and then I did 70 jumps in a row. Just keeping my heart rate up, trying to burn a little extra calories, slowly tapering myself into a, I guess, quote-unquote mini cut. If I ever do decide to straight cut, I'll probably add some kind of sprints and obviously restrict my calories a little bit more. Right now, I'm just tracking my food a little bit, not being too crazy about it. Here's the first set with 250. I'm trying to move them fast. I'm trying not to pause. I'm trying not to let the weight dissipate into my chest at all. Kind of how Spoto presses it. I know Mark invented the Spoto press, which is a pause above your chest, but I'm talking about how Spoto actually presses. That's why Mark named it that, is he just kind of keeps the weight in his back, lats, and tries the whole time. Just press, 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 press. He's super smooth. It looks like the bar's on rails. Obviously, I'm not doing that perfectly, but my goal was to. So I'm just trying to keep my back tight, barely let the weight touch my chest, then fire right back up. Even though I didn't film it, I do back rows today. I'm not worried about exactly which movement, but today, since it was right next door, I did rows every single set in between my bench movements. Another goal besides the supersets and keeping my calories high on Sunday is I want to increase my overhead press. One, because I want bigger shoulders. Everyone wants to look jacked. But my goal is to round out my shoulders a little bit. And two, I think in the long run, it will transfer greatly to my bench. So last week I did sets of 8 or so with 135. I threw on some 10s, and now I'm doing sets of 6. Just banging them out. Supersetting with chin-ups, I believe, or pull-ups, which you'll see in a second. There's a little bit of body sway. Probably not perfect, but I'm not too mad at it. I was a little bit of a rush, and also my low back. Here come the excuses, people. Spoiler alert, warning. Here come the excuses, people. My back was just tight from all those squats I did the day before. Tired, so I got lazy. Lazy is my only excuse. What you really want to do is you want to keep those ribs down a little bit, just like a deadlift or a squat. Flexing your abs, bracing them like you're about to get hit in the stomach. Keeping a neutral spine there, pressing up and back in a straight line as much as possible. Here, even though I did pull-ups on the one before, here I'm showing it to you guys, just doing a set of 10, which is decent for me at my body weight. I'm ranging anywhere from 220 to 230 pounds right now for those that care or want to know. My goal is to get back down to 200 or 210. A little bit of Christmas bloat and then a little bit of extra gluttony got me up here. Even though it does feel good in the weight room, it doesn't feel good everywhere else. It's not a really natural body weight for me. I'm much more comfortable physically and mentally around 200 pounds. Even though the gains hopefully will stay around. I'm squatting pretty good, benching pretty good right now, so the goal is to keep that strength and drop the body weight, body fat just a little bit. After I got the 3 sets of 6 overhead, I'm just going to increase the weight next week, do 3 sets of 4, continue, go back to 8s, add a little bit more weight. Periodizing programming can get very complicated, but when it's a movement that you're kind of new with, it can be very, very, very simple. Just 3-week waves like that if you like. And the set and rep scheme, there's no magic to it. It's just enough volume, and then either increase the volume or increase the weight, hopefully weekly, bi-weekly, or within a month. Afterwards, I just hit those low rows with a wider grip, and then some curls in between. The fluff and puff of the day. Feel good before you leave the gym. It's always fun to feel good. And even though people say bicep curls and biceps are non-functional, I will argue with that. There's not many big bench pressers, big lifters, even overhead, even weight lifters with tiny biceps, to be honest. You know, doing chin-ups, pull-ups, they will build your biceps, but a little extra work won't hurt. The biceps are a de-accelerator in pressing movements. They will keep you more stable in all pressing movements and shit. Everyone just wants big arms. I'm not very genetically gifted in the arm region, so I like to put in extra work. I'll put in some isolated triceps and biceps on both my Thursday and Sunday bench day. Today, I just want to get more back in, make my shoulders feel good. On top of that superset, just keep the heart rate up, get some biceps in. It got a little crowded in the gym, as you'll notice now, but when I first got there, it was just me and Damon. Damon right there itching his butt with the big-ass arms. Damon, on the other hand, is very genetically gifted in his arms. Damon's looking to bench around 450 pounds or so, weighing 198 or maybe 210 pounds right now, but absolute beast in the bench. You can just see how people put on weight differently. Mine goes kind of to my gut and my ass. His goes to his arms and his gut. It's just how it goes. It's how we're born. You can't choose where you add weight other than lifting weights and gaining weight slowly, but all you can do is eat well, put a little bit of cardio in so you don't die, train that heart, and then also lift your face off. With the main 3 lifts, in my opinion, will put the most amount of muscle in the best places for you. I don't really count sets or reps on this day. I go till it burns, adding a little bit of weight. As you see, a little bit of sway here, but I'm not really worried about it. I'm not going to be an IFBB pro anytime soon, even though I know you guys were voting for me at Mr. Olympia 2016. It probably just won't happen. So I just go how it feels good. Here I am jumping around, stretching my hamstrings, just dicking around, having a good time on Sundays. 3 to 4 sets of all these, anywhere from 8 to 15 reps. Went a little bit heavier with the dumbbells just to feel good. Sometimes it feels good on my grip to get that. And then also starting light, I warm up every single exercise to get some blood in the triceps so I don't get tendonitis in the elbow. That's it for this one, guys. Hopefully you like my mission to build a bigger bench. More series coming through. Like that bitch. Subscribe to that bitch. Share that bitch. I'm out of here. Thanks, guys. Let's go!